A soliloquy is a speech delivered by a single character which cannot be heard by anyone else on stage. It usually involves a character sharing their thoughts or confiding in an audience. In this one, we see Hamlet, who has recently returned back home following the death of his father, only to find his mother has already remarried his uncle. This is the first time we see Hamlet speak to the audience in this way.
Married with mine uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within a month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her galled eyes, she married. Oh, most wicked speed, to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets, it is not, nor it cannot come to good. But to break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
So when you're looking at a soliloquy like this for the first time, there are a lot of different clues that you can look for to help you unpick it or understand it better. Some of the things that I find most useful when I'm looking at a speech are punctuation, which often gives you an insight into the rhythm of a character's thoughts. Line endings, in which a lot of the most important subject matter of a speech is held, or repeated sounds, for example, alliteration and assonance, which again helps you to pick out the most important images within a speech. Punctuation, no matter whether it's a comma or a full stop or a question mark or an exclamation mark, indicates a change in direction of thought, whether it's a big one or a small one. So I think commas are slight, tiny little changes. And the more kind of broken up a thought is, I feel like the less confidence that you have, because every time you change, you're like, actually no, it's this, actually no, it's that, no, it's this. Oh God, God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fiont. Oh. Fie.
Yeah, I mean, it feels very strange and artificial, and just obviously you'd never perform it that way. But there's something about getting, as you were saying, about this turmoiled state that he's in, those moments where it's like, do. There's lots of shifting of thoughts that can help, I suppose, when looking at a text, helping decode the state of mind through the punctuation as well.
Yeah. There's something specific about being weary as opposed to stale,
Yes.
stale as opposed to flat. It feels like he begins not very good at it. So like he's finding it very difficult to self-reflect. But as the play goes on, and as he gets more confidence in a plan that he's going to make or whatever, I feel he becomes more relaxed and structured in that self-reflection or that connection to the audience.
Something I noticed you doing there, so about the sort of the actual an attitude you always get from the sound within the words, so the sort of alliteration, or if it's onomatopoeic, or that they're quite useful things, because Shakespeare, he's a poet and he does it a lot, he loves it. Even just the opening of that word, oh, this too sullied, it's already opening out a space, isn't it? Oh, and that's performing wise can always be one of those difficult. It's an exclamation, a bit like "fi" or "oh," but it already opens up to us. It's his first soliloquy to the audience.
Or ere those shoes were old, with which he followed my poor father's body, like Naya be all tears. Why she, oh God, a beast at once discourse of reason would have mourned longer. Married with mine uncle.
Yeah.
But I think those O's and those phi's are actually almost even more evocative than a more kind of intellectual bit of language, because I think phi, I mean, it's kind of like a nothing word, but it actually really encaptures a sense of frustration or a sense of ill-ease. All of the feeling and all of the emotion in Shakespeare comes out in the vowel sounds, and all the sense comes out in the consonants. So when you've got like quite open vowel sounds like groan and mourned and most wicked,
I feel like there's a lot of emotion. It's stale. There's a lot of emotional weight to those kind of words, which kind of allow a little bit of a release. Often, how the sound of a word makes me feel can be quite useful.
But talking about language, that's another thing you were saying about that you look for when analysing a text, is line endings. What do you mean particularly by line endings?
Well, in the English language, and especially in Shakespeare, often a lot of the sense comes towards the end of a sentence. So you can actually go through an entire speech just using the words at the end of the line.
Okay.
And it kind of gives a sense of, I mean, I can try it now.
Yeah, let's hear what it sounds like.
So if you go through, if you just pick up the last words of this speech: melt, dew, fixed, God, unprofitable, world, garden, nature, this, two, this, mother, heaven, earth, him, grown, month, woman, old, body, she, reason, uncle, father, month, the repetition of month, month.
Yeah. And woman, old body already gives an attitude towards someone or something. You can, and then towards the end, that good tongue, get a feeling of what it is that he's going to have to try and achieve.